Mark Gervais, and I started sailing about 40 years ago. The first part of my career in sailing was all about racing a small boat. We had a 34-foot C&C, raced it extensively in Narragansett Bay, and really loved the sport. A few years into that, I got into ocean racing and started doing Newport to Bermuda races. I did 9 of them in total and a couple of returns. Actually did one on this boat. And we also did races to Halifax, from Marblehead to Halifax. And in a lot of those cases, need a lot of information around the weather, whether it's for the race course or it's for long distances. I always had an affinity for following the weather and being kind of a weather geek.
And I'm Carol Tobian. I've been racing and sailing for about 20 years. Started on the West Coast, but moved to the Boston area and met Mark. Raced on the C&C 34 Dark Star, all extensively throughout Narragansett Bay. Everything from buoy racing to double-handed, the solo twin regatta, which is out of Newport, out and around Block Island. Joined Mark and a crew for the Newport to Bermuda races, also the Marion to Bermuda races, so I've done 7. In 2020 was, living aboard and living this life has always been a big part of our relationship. And so when the world fell apart, we sold the house, the furniture, the snowblower, and moved aboard our Hylas 46 Solstice. And so we're 3.5 years in, and I think we're up to, 9,000 offshore miles. By design, we chose the Hylas, and we wanted blue water sailing and to be able to go up and down safely, up and down the eastern seaboard. We double-handed the Newport to Bermuda race in 2022 last year. The SiriusXM Weather is instrumental even in our voyage planning, but when we're out there, it's just the two of us. And so having that information readily available on a screen where you can advance and watch those grids is essential. It's essential to our safety, in addition to all of the other tools and electronics that we use. So we've had a blast and love this life.
We have a number of friends that we sailed down to the Bahamas with last year, and many of them don't have really updated information on weather. Both of them that we sailed with didn't have the SiriusXM Marine Weather, and so they relied on forecasts, and typically forecasts are coming from one of the people that sends out routing information. Well, that's a text forecast, and it's old the minute you get it, because it's only show you maybe 48 hours out or something like that, but you really can't see what the changes are. Both of them tried and utilize the SiriusXM Marine Weather right now. I've had to give them a couple of demonstrations on what's on there, because they really don't understand that you can get the tropical information, you could advance the forecast on the wind predictions, and you can also look at the localized marine forecasts that are really important.
And it allows them to have everything centralized in one spot. So rather than chasing an iPad or running to download some grids, it's all central. It's really safety, and it gives you a lot of peace of mind.
So one example of how good this has been to us has just happened last weekend. We sailed from Norfolk and came around Cape Hatteras down to Beaufort. And what's interesting is we came down, we're looking at the weather information on the screen from the SiriusXM Weather. As we got around Hatteras, it's saying it was about 15 knots. All of a sudden we saw a change on the screen, and it showed us the wind's going to shift to 240 degrees, which is a southwest wind, which is exactly the direction we were going. And it was going to decrease. So it gave us a lot of comfort to understand, that it's going to be accurate. We're going to be able to see what's going on going forward. Unfortunately, we had a motor after a little while because the boat was just going forward in that kind of wind. But and I think the value is really, as Carol said a couple times, the fact that you get the information right away, and we can see that that weather information gets updated sometimes every 5 or 10 minutes based on the conditions. A number of different things that help us understand and really are valuable as we go forward. Just have that information at our fingertips at all time, in real time.
Yeah. Again, we're meeting a lot of friends that are out and are relatively new captains, new boat owners, catamaran owners, and sailing with their families. And this is really a phenomenal tool to be able to make sure that you can plan and do real-time, offshore passage making. Having the necessary and critical information at your fingertips And we hope that we've helped you kind of see what the system can offer and how it makes sure that your passages are safe and fun, and you can plan accordingly.